Hey everybody, James Madisonauts here, and today we're going to be talking about Acura Amanda's unlawful arrest. Yes, I'm classifying as an unlawful arrest due to the fact that the officers did not have probable cause to stop her, due to the fact that the Florida Statute 316.130, subsections 10 and 11, allow people to cross the road. So we're going to explore that. I'm going to show you some diagrams. I'm going to show you where she was stopped at. So let's jump into it right here. Full disclaimer, I had only written one pedestrian law violation in my entire career of law enforcement, and it was for crossing the road at a 45-degree angle with a suspect that had known drugs on him at the time. Now, this is the very first citation that this officer has ever written at this department. It is totally retaliatory towards her for filming the crash scene previously seen in the video here. They were waiting for her. They were watching her. And the sergeant that's involved in this one also has a previous contact with her. But now let's take a look at the map and see what happens here. Okay, so what we're going to be looking at here is Acura Amanda filming a crash scene in Palm Beach Gardens right here. You can see that this crosswalk is blocked. She's going to ultimately walk down the street and attempt to cross over at an unmarked crosswalk where it is permissible to do so because this one is temporarily disabled due to the fact that they are working a scene here. Okay, so once she finishes up with this scene here, she's going to be walking down the road and away from this area. Let's jump ahead to that. All right, so she's going to be leaving that crash scene and heading down the road here. But what you may not have noticed in her video is this sign right here. That says sidewalk closed. Now, once she gets here, there is a left turn of this sidewalk that leads right down to the road, indicating by definition that there is an unmarked crosswalk here. We're going to take a look at this on Google Maps and show you what we see here. Now, the road that she is at Burma, right here at this section right here. And if you look at the tops up here, we can see that there is a downward area, an unmarked crosswalk, traction pads, but then also a right-hand turn of both sides of the roadway here where it would indicate that you could cross here. Now, the reason why you can actually cross in this section is not because of that, but it is in fact because there are adjacent roads that do not have traffic control devices. Now, if you're not understanding what that is, between here and over here is your next crosswalk. These two crosswalks are 2,078 feet approximately apart. But what you don't realize is that there are other intersections here that do not have traffic control devices, such as a flashing light. Right here, and here, just like this. So what does that mean? So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little quiz on this website right here, propublica.org. Now, this is not legal advice, but it is accurate in how the Florida statute works. And what it is, it's a very similar situation on what you were looking at in that particular area. Now, the first question asked right here, is it legal to cross Beach Boulevard in the middle of the block like at A or B? Now you have to answer this question. Is it only legal at A? Is it legal at B? Well, we're going to click the right answer right here. It's legal at A. Because on B, you must cross within the crosswalk if there's two working traffic signals here. So let's take a look at this one right here. This is very similar to Acura Amanda's case right here where there's a T intersection. She's on this side of the road and attempting to cross over this way. And it says, let's look at this T-shaped intersection where no crosswalk is marked. Can you legally cross here? Now it's either yes, it's legal to cross here and the cars have to yield to pedestrians, or it's legal to cross here and pedestrians have to yield to traffic. Which one do you think it is? I'm going to answer the correct answer, which is this one right here. Now, this right here, again, is not legal advice, but it matches what the state law says, and here is what the state law says right here. This is under 316.130. This is pedestrian traffic regulations. Now, a lot of officers think they know the law. Jaywalking is not a legal term in Florida, but they seem to cite it a lot. So number 10 and 11 are going to apply here. And this one says, every pedestrian crossing a roadway at any point other than within a marked crosswalk or within an unmarked crosswalk at an intersection shall yield the right-of-way to all vehicle upon the roadway. That's exactly what she did in that case there. Now, number 11 applies as well, because between adjacent intersections at which traffic control signals are in operation, pedestrians shall not cross at any place except a marked crosswalk. That's exactly it. She's at an intersection. A T road is an intersection where there is no traffic control device. Therefore, she can cross at that portion of that area right here according to number 10. But we need to go to number 12. No pedestrian shall, except in a marked crosswalk, cross a roadway at any other place by route at right angles to the curb or by the shortest route to the opposite curb. If we go look at that map one more time and where she crossed at Burma Road, you can see right here that she crossed directly over here and over to Burma Road, which is permittable under the statute, 100%. And the reason why, once again, is the two marked crosswalks that have traffic control devices are here, North Lake and Sandtree, and then the other one is over here at North Lake and MacArthur. Now, if this doesn't convince you, let's take a look at some more information here. Okay, so we're gonna go over here to Christopher Burns, another one here. Where can you cross the street? Well, I'm gonna zoom in on this so it's full screen for everybody to see. When should a pedestrian cross the street? At an intersection. What if the blocks are really long and far apart? What if there is no block? What if it's a long stretch with no visible intersections? Consider Florida law. Pedestrians are allowed to cross the street at any intersection, whether a crosswalk is marked or unmarked. Motorists must yield to a pedestrian who is already in an intersection crosswalk. All right, so let's take a look at this intersection right here. Now, this is where the state law is clear. It's illegal to cross between these two marked intersections with traffic control devices. You can see it right there. However, if you come down to here, where it's legal, pedestrian can cross between adjacent intersections, one of which is not signalized. That's what Burma Road is. And the other roads in between there are all non-signalized. Now, this attorney here goes into and talk about the confusion. What does adjacent intersection mean? Why does it matter? By Florida law, a pedestrian may not cross in the middle of a block if signalized intersections are close enough together to be defined as adjacent, which is a word that is not defined in the Florida statutes. In the central business district, where city blocks are close together, most intersections are considered adjacent. But in suburban and rural locations, the long distance to detour to the nearest signalized intersection crosswalk is often perceived as impractical by pedestrians. It may be too far to be realistically considered as adjacent. Now you're going to hear Amanda saying that in here. So if we look at this here and we measure this down here, we're going to measure from here to Sandtree. It is over 1,300 feet to that location, and to the next intersection, it is over 600 feet to the next intersection down here, 732 to this intersection to cross over. And that would give you a total route to get over, at back and over, about 1,200 feet to go directly across here where this unmarked crosswalk is. Not only here, with this road right here, but you can see that this also turns in that direction. All right, this doesn't have you convinced. Let's take a look at some other information here. Straight off another attorney's website, it is Bernstein Injury Law right here. And it says 316.130.11 says that when there are working crosswalk with traffic control signals, all pedestrians must cross only in the crosswalk. We've established that. But in between there are no marked crosswalks. Florida law requires a pedestrian to cross using the shortest route possible. At Burma, Lindell, and Silverhorn, those are all unmarked crosswalks. All right, so let's take a look in here. We're going to go right in here on Street View and see what we are talking about. As you can see right over here on the other side of the road, there is that turn where you can come over and cross over to this section right here. There is no other reason for it except for to indicate that there's a crosswalk at Burma Road. Now, this right here is where that sidewalk was closed, and as you can see in this section here, it is perfectly legal here, and that sidewalk turns and comes over here to the curb. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you again soon, and leave a note in the comments. I also put a link to the article that I wrote up here explaining this so you can see some of the diagrams in case they weren't clear here. Thanks for watching, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.